Tribalism is when loyalty to a side gets so strong that you stop judging it like you normally would and start defending it simply because it's your side. It makes the other side look like the enemy, and it drives people not only to disagree with each other, but to despise one another.
How could they? How dare they treat you like that?
That is the definition of tribalism, and what it actually means will become very important later on in the video. Now, in the last few years, we have all seen how big the gacha game genre has grown. A big part of that is because it's infamous for creating an intense emotional connection to their characters that could even make people's real-life relationship crash. Yes, that actually happened. Now, if we combine these two together, we get the current ongoing culture war that is making family dinner arguments feel enjoyable in comparison. But how did we even end up like this, and what do we do about it? How about we talk about that? Now, if you followed any kind of online drama lately, you probably noticed how fast the internet picks up specific words and starts throwing them around everywhere. It's because they can make a small argument sound way bigger than they are. Someone lies and suddenly it's gaslighting. Someone flirts when they shouldn't and now they're a predator. Someone likes a different game and now that's tribalism. These words sell the story way harder than something like he is a playboy. And even when the word kind of fits, it gets repeated by millions of people online and the meaning starts to drift almost like a giant whisper game. Tribalism is a real thing, but the way people use the word online now is a shortcut. So instead of saying that people are arguing or defending their taste in games, they call it tribalism. What it really means is that it's loyalty to a group or a person or even a thing that becomes so strong that honest judgments start to disappear. A very good example of this would be when Justin Bieber was at his biggest. I'm not gonna forget this clip for the rest of my life.
Peeta is angry at Justin Bieber because his new Bentley has tires made out of baby seals. Do you think they should just leave him alone?
Yeah, because he can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, he's the king of pop.
At that point, it stops mattering what the side do wrong because people are going to defend it anyways. That is what makes it different from simply liking something a lot. The real problem is that loyalty starts coming first and the truth comes second. You see it in gaming, but also in politics or in these celebrities or artists and pretty much anywhere where people build identities around a side. And the ugliest part is that the group pressure makes new people quickly start feeling like they have to agree, because that's just how you show your loyalty to your favorite. And here's the tricky part. When you criticize something, like a game in this case, it doesn't automatically come from hate. More often than not, it comes from care, because you like the game enough that you want it to improve. And criticism is a big part of that improvement. Even when the criticism is fair, the people who are tribal about the game start treating it like you are attacking them personally. They don't see it as criticism. They see it like something they have to defend. And the thing we need to see about tribalism is that it gets worse in spaces like this, where so much of the community is built on connection and feeling towards a character, or the community around them. And we have to ask ourselves why this is so much worse in gacha games. It's because the characters are sold with a lot of emotion attached to them. Other games do that too. In MMOs, for example, people can get attached to the characters in the story, but most people in MMOs are not there for the characters. They're there for the community. They have their own characters that they made themselves through character creation. So the big difference here is the feeling and the hype around the characters and their story. If you've ever seen or heard people with C6 characters, obviously there's different reason for it, and whether they paid for it straight up or saved for a long time, it often comes down to the same thing. They care that much about the character that they do not mind spending the amount of time or money to get the C6. And that should say enough about how much people care about these characters. It's not a bad thing by itself, but it makes it easy to see why these emotions get really big for a lot of people in these games. Whenever someone feels this strongly about something they love, that is a great thing. But it also becomes very easy to defend it from whatever looks like an attack towards that thing. And when you're in that state, it's easy to get clouded by it. A good comparison is whenever you have this friend who's madly in love with someone. But from the outside, everyone can see that the relationship is a terrible one. No matter what you say, they try to fix the person or still stay in this relationship. They won't listen to a word anyone has to say, even when it's super obvious. This is where a community inside gaming can make this even worse, because on your own, you might still notice that you're making excuses just because you like the game. But when hundreds of people online are making the exact same excuses as you do, it's harder to question why you even have to be defensive for the game, and you just accept that you are. Big reason it got this bad in Gacha game is that the drama has become a huge part of online content, because it sells very easily. People love drama today, but for that to work you need an opponent, and if you don't have one, you create one. Which is exactly why phrases like Genshin could never or Wuthering Waves exists. And while there may be a big difference between these games, they all have their good parts. But admitting to that would not sell the drama just as good. And when you keep seeing phrases like that around the internet, whether you agree with them or not doesn't matter, because it doesn't take long for them to turn into a narrative that people start repeating everywhere. Because that's just how the internet works. And even if it's just a small group of people pushing it, that is still enough for it to spread everywhere, and to make it feel like that's the only thing people talk about. And on top of that, if you criticize one of these games, it becomes very easy for people to assume you're biased towards the other one. And it also doesn't help that a lot of people now does not listen to the full point being made, and just take the title or the surface of the criticism instead. And are we really supposed to just accept the situation, where we have to pick one side and stay there, and try to act like we don't care at all about the other one, just because that is what the Gacha community decided? A big part of what I wanted to talk about on my channel is exactly this. Gaming should be entertainment, not a team sport like dodgeball. I want to be able to talk to people about games and judge them fairly. They do good things and bad things all the time. And whatever bad thing a game does, it doesn't mean that you should hate or laugh at it because your game is doing better than it. There really is no reason for us to put one game on a pedestal. Everyone is allowed to have their favorite game, of course, but it isn't a competition. We can like multiple games. You can play as many of them as you feel like or have time for. But the thing is, you don't always have to compare to other games, even if the games are doing the same thing in the same genre. And if we really care about multiple games, we should also be able to criticize them whenever they do something that doesn't live up to the standard we expect, without being treated like we're haters for it. Because that's how games and communities can get better. We say what's not good enough. And as you know, the noise on the internet is temporary, but the games, they're forever. Now, if you liked the video and want more, consider subscribing or liking, because that would be the best motivation for me to make more videos. And with that, I'll see you in the next one.